Hello, hello, happy Monday. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, diving into all things astrology and how you can leverage the astrology to live your best life and look better, feel better, get everything that you want and really use astrology as a tool of empowerment because when you can understand the cycles, the rhythms, the patterns of astrology, you can just have such profound leverage over your life and really navigate the challenges. Um, and the positive, expect the positive things too, but really know how to break through your current glass ceiling, smash your patterns, and really just be that girl, just being that cosmic it girl that we're all here to be and embody. And so, quickly, I wanted to speak to some energy that was happening over the weekend before I get into the astrology moving forward. But I just wanted to say Uranus is that bitch. I talked a lot about Uranus re entering Taurus, which happened on Friday, on November 7th. I talked a lot about it last week, so I have lots of references for that for you. So you can dive into my past videos for that. But I just wanted to touch on it because I know a lot came up for people over the weekend and myself included, and just really kind of surfaced a lot of emotions and past emotions and really things for me too that I thought like I dealt with like a long time ago. And I was like, this is all resurfacing, this is all bubbling up to the surface. And so, when things the past returns so that you can break free of it, right? Like, and when you're expanding, when you're evolving, and when you're meeting new edges, the past always returns. So I always just tell my clients, tell my friends to expect it and see it as a good sign because it's literally just the way that one, the energy works, but also two, it's the way in which you break the cycles, and three, it's also just how the ego references things in the past, even if like maybe um something physically didn't come back from your past. It's like maybe it's an emotion, maybe it's a story, because your ego and your body hold on to the past, and so it always uses your past as like a reference point to keep you safe and in your protective patterns so that you're not breaking free and through. Even though if it is something that you want, your ego is always trying to keep you safe. Your body is always, your ego is a meaning making machine, and your body is learns from experience. And so it's like, remember that past experience that you had that was super painful? Yeah, let's not do that again. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, we're just revisiting this to break free and break forward. And so that's really what the energy is. And so, and sometimes when you're breaking patterns, things have to die to be reborn. We are in Scorpio season after all. I did check. I was like, when is Sag season? When is Sag season? Because I was like, this Scorpio season is intense. We're having to face a lot of emotions and really transform that chaos into power. And that really is the journey of the Scorpion. And so, like, in order to birth the creation, in order to bring things into physical form, which I dive deep into this on my Substack about the energy and the journey of the Scorpio and the Scorpion, it's like you actually have to go through the chaos to transform. Like, birth, right? So the Scorpio season is the sacral chakra, it is the womb, and how much power and transformation happens in that process of bringing a seed into physical form. And so, that process requires time. It was emotional confirmation. It is chaotic. There's tears, there is rips, there is blood, like there is broken bone, like things rip, right? Like, it is as chaotic of a process of like emerging from the womb as can be, right? And so it's like destruction to reconstruct, right? And so your ego, your identity really has to deconstruct to reconstruct. And so it's working with that, with your body, to allow your body to like deconstruct that pattern from your past, because your body is really the thing that holds your patterns, and your body is your subconscious. And so you really have to learn to work with your subconscious in order to break free. And so if things are surfacing subconsciously in your dream state, a belief, a person, it's like, it's a good thing, because it's like your body is wanting to release it. And so it really just needs to be witnessed, and you just like, honestly, just allow your body to process it. Don't feel the need to control it. Like, don't feel like the need to fix it. Like, everything is fine, everything is Gucci, everything is good. It's like just allowing the emotional storm to pass, is the test. And it's like it's teaching you to like be grounded and anchored through the emotional chaos, because it's like that those emotions just needed to clear from your body so that you could be a higher frequency, you could hold higher vibration. And so if a lot of emotions, if a lot of scarcity, a lot of fear, a lot of lack, a lot of negativity um, are surfacing right now or surfaced over the weekend, just know that's the energy and it's allowing you to break free and break through. So definitely book a one-on-one session, or you can hop into my 30-day glow up container if you want support navigating that, because it's not about controlling the chaos within, it's letting it go, because it's like literally preparing your body to receive what's on the other side. And so your body just literally needs to expunge that energy. And one of the things I'll say that I put together today is that Uranus is at the last degrees of Taurus. And so you can look back to July through October of 2024, and also May of July through July of this year, as the Uranus was also at the last degrees of Taurus. And some stuff has definitely been coming up for me around those dates. So, I mean, I also have like my midheaven there. So, like, that's like very specific to my chart. But also, like, if you have late fixed signs, which is, Taurus, Leo, um, Scorpio, and Aquarius, if you have any placements at late fixed signs, like Uranus could be hitting that energy also. So, um, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. It's like really been intense. And this I wrote this down over the weekend. When the struggle ceases from within, the struggle without ceases. If that shows you what kind of a weekend I had. And it's so true. It's like when the chaos, when the struggle from within ceases, it is softened, it is released, it is surrendered. So too does the external struggle, does the external chaos, does the external friction, right? And so it's really just kind of meeting that these kind of emotional tests and triggers with love and compassion, and not needing to change any of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really sat with myself yesterday and I was just like, we don't need to change this about you. Like, not in like a narcissistic way, but it was just like from a place of like love. I was like, you're perfect as you are. Like, you're whole, you're good, you're fine. And I love you just as you are. You don't got to change a thing about you. And it really allowed me to just like soften into acceptance, into love. And that's really like kind of the energy of this week, because we have Mercury retrograde. Mercury's retrograde in Sagittarius. Mercury in Sagittarius. Um, it's interesting, right? Because we have the ruler of Sagittarius, which of course all those like flights and all, we have all this like airport, like plane travel kind of stuff coming up right now, which I would say honestly, like the next 2 months for travel, not ideal, because we have all of this energy in Sagittarius that's going to square Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And it's just like not good travel energy. And Mercury retrograde, of course, is never also a good time for travel, but Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, not a good time for travel. So just kind of expect delays or chaos or confusion or cancellations, and just like kind of like expect things to not be like seamless and smooth if you're traveling the next 2 months, which I know it's like the holidays, it's not ideal, but just give yourself extra time, prepare yourself, like whatever. But what's interesting about the energy this week, we have so Mercury was retrograde in Sagittarius, which is always a time to kind of rethink and rewire your beliefs, your mindsets, your patterning, like rebrand, reinvent yourself, really just focus on your mindset and your beliefs. But especially in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the truth. It is the higher truth. It is the higher perspective. It is the higher beliefs. It's like very big picture thinking. And so it's really an opportunity for you to think like bigger picture, like zoom out, like, is the thing that you're emotional about, is it really that important? Like, maybe not, but like maybe it is. Just like, what would God say about it? What would God say about it? And so what's interesting is that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is also stationing retrograde this week on November 11th, 11/11. And Jupiter's been in Cancer since June 9th. And this is really all about the heart. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. I have my Jupiter in Cancer and natally in my chart, and this has been a really profound transit for me. And what's interesting is that um, Jupiter is stationing, it's an out of sign opposition, but it's still an opposition. Jupiter stationing retrograde, opposing Pluto. And so really what this is like really can be surfacing some wounds and some heart pain and some I don't know why agony is coming in, but like agony, like I don't know, like if you have experienced agony or if you're experiencing it that week, like that word is like wanting to come in. But it's really about your heart. And what is interesting too, because like the moon was also in is also in Leo today, opposing Pluto. And I'm like, man, the universe is just really wanting us to expand our hearts and open our hearts. And I was like doing some channeling this morning, and I was just like, right, like you actually have to like the whole point of opening your heart is like actually allowing more love in. And isn't it so funny that like we close our hearts because we're scared and we like are so scared of like receiving love or so scared of like receiving goodness, you know what I mean? Like we're so uncomfortable with like things getting really good. Like we think that the other shoe is gonna drop or that we're gonna be like left and abandoned, and it's like it feels so vulnerable and exposing to like open your heart. But like when you open your heart, that's like when everything gets good, you know, that's when you can receive more love, that's when you can receive support, that's when, you know, like life gets richer, life gets more rewarding, life gets more fulfilling. Life becomes easier because people like literally just see your light, because that's what your heart is. Your heart is your light. Um and like things just then start magnetizing and being attracted to you. But it's almost just like this like catch 22, because so many people have so much resistance around opening their hearts. And it's like really like having an open heart is like the kind of the cheat code. And you know, it's so interesting, like what's coming up for me, like as I say this, is there, you know, my girl Brene Brown, she has this book, and I don't even know if I have the exact name of the title, but it was like one of my coffee table books. I mean, I have it in storage in Miami, but it's like it's called like Atlas of the Heart. And she talks about how, you know, like when you have a dog, which, you know, I'm like mother of dogs now. Like as I like look over at my dog, I'm like, yeah, my heart, like dogs open your heart so freaking much. Any animal just opens your heart so freaking much. And I could cry, right? And I like legit was like watching a TikTok about like a horse, like before it was adopted and then like after it was adopted. And I was like sobbing yesterday, like watching this like TikTok of the horse. Because horses, by the way, have really strong electromagnetic fields. They have huge hearts, and they're actually a very regulating animal. And they're like like so like they are like if you're dysregulated around a horse, like the horse is going to attune itself to you to help you re-regulate, which is so powerful, which is why they're so healing and they're like such gentle giants. And you know, it's so interesting too because okay, now I'm going on like a horse tangent, but like I just think they're such special creatures. Like we as like as a I want to say it's like a society, but like in our lineage have always been really connected to horses. Like we were like very reliant on horses in the past, like, you know, like the dune and buggy, like is it dune and buggy, I don't know, like, you know, like the horse in a carriage, we would ride our horses in the outback, you know, like we were cowboys, like we were like we as a species, there we go, not a collective, as a species always were really connected to horses. And now like as a society we've kind of got disconnected from them, and when they're actually very healing, very emotionally regulatory, very like kind of safe and emotionally intelligent creatures, and they're very magnetic creatures, and they helped us so much, not only with like the physical demands of like our labor, but like also attuning ourselves emotionally. And like they're really healing animals, and they're, you know, there's so much like studies and things that are like, I mean, I like whatever, but helping, you know, horses help like trauma survivors and stuff really learn like how to have boundaries and practice safety and like be attuned to themselves, because horses will literally like mirror your boundaries, and like they'll also like mirror your fear and like all that. They're such powerful, emotionally intelligent creatures. But anyways, their heart, right? Like they're creatures of the heart. Maybe that's why I was saying all that, because it's like they really are like these emotional creatures, and like they, like they can partner, they like long for things, they feel things, they're so attuned to nature, to the world, to us as humans. And um but anyways, Brene Brown in this book, she talks about, when you get a dog, you're not like going into getting the dog being like, this dog is probably like, I'm going to outlive this dog, right? Like this dog is going to pass away at some point, like 10 years, 12 years, 15, 20 years down the road. You go into the heart, you go into to getting the dog because of how much joy and love and heart expansion is in that journey with the dog. And you don't avoid getting a dog because of the heartbreak that will happen like when the dog passes. Like I've had dogs that have passed away. It's literally the most heart-wrenching experience, but it's like you don't not go into that because of like all the joy you're going to have for like the 15 years, whatever it is that you have the dog. It's like, no, you go into it knowing it's going to enrich your life and give you all of these experiences and all of this joy and all of this love, right? And so, and that's really like, I think such a, we can understand it when it's something like a dog, but like when it comes to like risking, a relationship or a career path, or like putting our heart out there, putting ourselves out there, being vulnerable, making that ask, it can feel really confronting. And it's like, well, it's actually, when you can actually just be heart led and trust your heart, like your heart's actually never going to steer you wrong. Confirmation right? Your heart's actually never steering you wrong. Like your ego might try and get in the way and try and control things and tell you to not trust your heart. But it's like your heart really is your truth. It is your authenticity. It is your expression. And so many of us are actually not living our fullest joy, our fullest happiness, our fullest fulfillment, because we're living with closed hearts, and it feels safer and it feels more comfortable to live that way. But actually, you're missing out on the whole journey with the dog by living that way, right? And it's like, I mean, I like just in the past, more like just being around dogs, like, how did I ever live with it? How did I ever live without a dog before? You know what I mean? It's like they just enrich your life so much. They open your heart so much. They bring you so much joy. They bring you so much unconditional love. Like they're always happy to see you. They're such like service creatures. Like they love to serve, they love to love, they love to give, and they're so playful, right? And they're so silly, they're so goofy. They like make me like, he makes me smile every day. He's like just that like loyal, trusty steed, that loyal companion, my shadow. Like he's a little Velcro dog. And it's just like, it expands your heart so much. And it's like, great, like can't we like learn from like fucking dogs that like what it means to just like really be your heart in your heart? Like the dog's not like, oh, it's so vulnerable for me to like express my feeling and emotion and my love for you right now. Right? It's not like that. It's like, I have all this love to give, like la 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 la, like I'm so happy, like, that's like what it is. And so it's not like, it's not in its ego about like I have of like all this love it's going to give. And it's not like expecting love in return either. It's just like giving love because that's the state that the dog lives in. Like they just live in that frequency of love and play. And so that's just like what's innate and natural. And that's really what it means to live from the heart. And so many I call myself like the Leo whisperer, because it's like we got to liberate the Leo, because the heart is Leo and the inner heart is Cancer. So Cancer is about your inner security, your inner safety, your inner stability, your inner support. And it is actually really, it's your ability to nourish yourself and to nurture yourself and to get your needs met. And when you feel nourished and when you feel fed, right, you can then like bloom and blossom into who you're born to be. Like when you have that like strong support system. I always say like there's kind of like two types of people. There's like the type of people who are successful, who have a close-knit family and like they really rely on their family for support. And then there's the people who had to individuate themselves from their families because like crab in the fucking pot, like Cancers are the crab, right? Because their family is like trying to like keep them in a safe state because it's like actually confronting for a person to like kind of like outgrow or out be successful of a family, right? Because that family set that like one container of like the expectations, and then for you to go and grow out of that container, it like triggers the rest of the family, right? And so there's like, and that's the energy of Cancer. Like, not that like your family holds you back, but it's like you actually need that support system. Like, ask anyone that's fucking successful, right? They have a support system. And it's like that's the actually Cancer energy, because Cancer energy is like it supports you and nurtures you and to grow and to bloom and to blossom and to flourish like a flower, right? To open, because think about it, a flower opens, and that's about the heart. Like the heart has to open, it has to bloom and to blossom, to self-express, to be seen, to shine, to flourish, to receive. And so Cancer really initiates the cycle of giving and receiving. And what happens with Cancer is Cancer gets stuck. If it doesn't open its heart, it gets stuck in its crab shell, unable to receive and unable to stretch its comfort zone to like receive more. And so if you're not experiencing the love, the richness, the fulfillment, and you're unable to receive, you actually have a Cancer imbalance. And so you need to actually open your heart, because Cancer is the foundation of relationships. And Cancer really is about being well balanced, nourished, and supported. And so, too, if you like your relationships are out of balance, or if you give more than you receive, Cancers are such natural givers, right? But if you heart, because here's what here's what like the shadow side of Cancer does. Cancer will give and give and give and give in order to think it needs to receive. But what happens is it's giving and it never like allows itself to receive in return. And so then it like I always say, like you block your blessings when it's like the natural cycle is if you're naturally generous, you naturally should be receiving, right? Because you're always giving. So technically, like just from an energetic point, what you give out gets returned, right? And so you should always be receiving if you're a giver. And if you're not, that cycle is unbalanced, and you got to rebalance that by opening, usually coming like learning to lean back a little bit out of the masculine, because even though Cancer is a feminine sign, like there is like a masculine side to mothering, right? Like, because mothering, you are giving, you are pouring your heart into your child. Like Cancer's the mother, like you're always like naturally gonna give, gonna nurture, gonna want to protect. um and it's so funny, like I'm in Arizona, I was like walking my dog, there was a coyote, and it's so crazy like how your like just natural mother instincts just like take over to protect the dog. And it's like it's so funny actually too, because this couple like stopped to help me like chase off this coyote. But it's like I had to like allow myself to receive that support from like this fucking like I was like thinking about it. I was like, all of that was like so like Mother Earth, like Mother Nature, like Cancer energy. Like I went into like protection mode of the dog, and then like someone else, like they got in their Cancer energy to like protect and support me. But it's like if I didn't like let myself like receive the support, because they were like, do you want help? And I was like, sure, because I don't know what the fuck to do like with this fucking coyote, right? And so like the guy gets out of the car and like chases the coyote away from me, whatever. Because I had the dog, and the dog is dinner. And and it was just like, oh, I'm so glad I'm in a place where I can like allow myself to like receive support from like strangers. And they like helped me with the dog, and we got the dog to safety. They gave me a ride. They were so loving, they were so generous, they were so sweet, they were so supportive. um the dog is getting up and like coming near closer to me as I'm telling this story. Right, but it's like that's like the mother energy. It's like, why, like, because like it's your innate natural energy to like go into mother bear mode, right? And like go protect. And so like that's why I say there's kind of like that masculine side to Cancer, to mothering, right? Because like I always say, like Cancers are soft and they're so mushy, because like have you ever eaten a crab? Like there's some really juicy meat inside of that crab, on the inside of that hard outer shell. But it's like you also don't fuck with mother bear. Mother bear will kill you if you fuck with her cubs, right? And so it's like actually kind of like that innate like protective instinct part of you. And I think so some of us as women need to protect ourselves in that way a little bit better. um Not to say like to be savage and like like attack what attacks you or like what, but it's like being a little bit like fierce, like fierce and protective of your heart. When you can trust yourself to protect your heart and to keep yourself safe and like the ones that you love safe, then it's like you actually like don't have a reason to ever close your heart. And so all of that to say, it's like when you trust yourself that you're only going to let in who is like met the checks and balances of the queen, right? I teach this actually in Venetian Bitch. Like, you are the queen and you have to use your masculine to guard the gates. Like not anyone can just go visit Buckingham Palace. Like, you probably need a background check. You probably need it to like some ID, some identification. You need it. First of all, you need to be fucking invited by the queen, right? Like there's guards, there's so many things that need to happen for you to enter the queen's queendom. And it's like that's like how we actually need to like protect ourselves in the same way, and like not like ourselves but like our heart, right? Because as a divine feminine woman, you're naturally going to be giving and loving and nurturing and empathetic and soft and just nothing better than like that love from a divine feminine woman. But when you trust yourself that like you're giving the people who enter your life those checks and balances, and you're only going to allow into your field the people that are worthy of like who I say are also givers, right? Like that's why I'm like I only like fuck with other givers, right? And then it's like there's no reason to ever close your heart because you have boundaries around your heart, right? And you trust your intuition to only let the people in who align with your heart. And so all of that to say, Jupiter in Cancer has been expanding our heart, our desires for love, our desires for nourishment, for nurturement, to receive more. Like I have really, this in my Jupiter return, really had to learn to receive and really like such deeper, more profound ways and allow and support. And really, I mean, it's no, I've spent like the last 4 months with my family. I'm like, of course, my Jupiter return in Cancer, just like with my family. And it's like, no, the astrology doesn't lie. The astrology never lies. And of course I'm like all of my mother energy is like turning on, right? Because that's the energy of Cancer. So all that to say, the past 4 months, has it been 4 months since June 9th? June, July, August, September, October. So the last 5 months, Jupiter has basically been expanding our hearts, right? And so now with it retrograde, it's like, okay, now we're gonna go, and it's like we stretched our capacity, and now Pluto is like, all right, we're gonna now that we've expanded our heart's gonna get a little scared, and we're gonna have to like revisit some wounds and really turn inward into where we're blocking our hearts from receiving more love, for receiving more support, for receiving more fortune, because your heart is your receptivity. And so if you're a woman that doesn't allow herself to be supported, doesn't allow herself to be seen, doesn't allow herself to be taken care of, doesn't allow herself to be nourished by others, right? It's like you actually like that's what you got to look at the next like few months of Jupiter retrograde, because it's like I said this to myself this morning on my walk. I was like, God wants to give you so much. Like God has already said yes to everything. God wants what you want. God knows your desires, right? Like God placed his desires on your heart. There's a reason why you desire the things that you desire. You, as your job, especially as a woman, is to open your heart so that you can receive it. And so it's recognizing and realizing that like on the other side of opening your heart is everything that you want. And um it's really just expanding your capacity to receive more. That's really what it is, and like reflecting on all the ways in which you're blocking yourself from receiving more. And like, do you feel can you ask for your needs to be met? Like, can you can you allow yourself to be taken care of? Can you allow yourself to receive? And what I'll say, as working with so many women and going through this process with myself, is if you've never received and been truly supported by someone else, it's a completely visceral experience. And so your body and your nervous system is going to react to it. And it's probably going to be really triggering. And so, what I recommend is getting around people who have like really grounded masculine energy and like just practicing being supported because it's actually like a skill. I have chills as I say that. It's actually a skill that your body needs to calibrate to. And it's a very visceral experience. It's a completely somatic experience, and it's actually going to be allowing yourself to receive and allowing yourself to be supported is actually going to be super regulating and really grounding and really supportive for you. And so getting around people that you trust, that feel like family, that feel like home, and just like having those conversations of like, I would actually be like, I'm really practicing receiving. And like, would you mind like just like being like listening? Like, right? Like, would you be open to supporting me in this way? Like, and just really opening your throat chakra, Uranus and Taurus, and like asking for your needs to be met. And it is really vulnerable, but like, and to like there is like the feminine ask, which I teach in Venetian Bitch, but like you have to like ask for what you want and ask for your needs to be met and like really show appreciation when like I mean appreciation duh, but like gratitude duh, but it's like really asking from your heart. Like when you ask from your heart, like people really will go out of their way to help you. I mean, I always say like I made a career out of asking as a in my sports production career, like as a producer, like I literally made a career out of asking for things. I had like that's all you do as a producer is you ask for things from people, and it really is like the art of the feminine ask. And it's like if I didn't know how to ask for things, I would never get anything done in my job, right? In like my career. And so it's really kind of taking up your self-care, really taking up asking for your needs to be met, allowing yourself to be taken care of, really embracing the vulnerability of exchange, right? That cycle of giving and receiving. Like, am I attuned to like a healthy flow of giving and receiving, right? Am I receiving as much as I'm giving, or is that out of balance? And when you can better meet your own needs, you can better meet the needs of others, you can show up better for other people, you literally shape shift your relationships, you shape shift your I mean literally everything in your life shifts because everything is just a reflection of you, right? And so if you can't meet your own needs, you really get stuck in your crab shell, unable to receive. And so again, cracking open that fucking heart, which I realize I this is what I kind of help women do. So if you're wanting to really understand like what that is all about and how to receive more and really live from a heart-centered place, like book a session, jump onto my containers, work one-on-one with me because that's really like what I'm the most passionate about is like connecting women back to their hearts. Um, and not to say that you're disconnected from your heart, but like when like because women are so naturally giving and loving and nourishing and caretaking, but when you can actually like go from like immediately giving to like giving to yourself first, then you just have so much more to give because then you're giving from a place of overflow and not depletion. And when you are connected to your heart, you're clear in who you are, you have a clear vision, you have those high standards, you have strong worth and boundaries, and you trust yourself that you have your own back, that you're only letting the right people in. You then become like so spiritually connected and aligned and intuitive and devoted, and you can like live more of your purpose because you have so much vitality and vibrancy in your body and your energy field because you're not leaking your light to everyone who's not worthy and deserving of it. So if you want to come back and be like you want to come back to your heart and live your most like full vibrant radiant life, that's really what this like astrology is supporting you in doing. And really if emotions are surfacing right now, you're having a bit of like what the fuck is happening right now, if you're needing a lot more rest right now, it really is the astrology really kind of cracking you open to more. And yeah, like really connecting you back to your heart. Mercury retrograde, it's only really going to be in Sagittarius for like a week before it goes back into Scorpio. It will meet with Mars this week, so really allow it to to kind of to show you to zoom out and see the higher picture of like, where your beliefs are not in congruence with like the truth of your heart, because your heart is your truth. And where are you not allowing yourself to fully live from your heart, where you could be more vulnerable, when you can ask for your needs more, and how just like really, if you were to just like 10x your self-care, like what would that look like for you? So I've just been rambling for a long time, so I'm gonna leave it there. But a big opportunity to just like really crack open your heart to receive more love. Because love is all there is, right? Everything that we want is a frequency of love. So there we go. Sending you all my love. Book a session below. Jump into my 30-day glow up, all about really connecting you back to your heart, your radiance, your vitality, your vibrancy as a woman, really embodying that it girl identity, and being the woman that gets to have it all. So love you so much. Enjoy this week. Bye, guys.